Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted to address whatever topics you might like to discuss, whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. You can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. And so we are here live in the FijiWater.com sponsored studio every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted. And as always, today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast, 3D, is brought to you by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery. And you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is Earth's finest water, and it's not just water, it's Fiji water. And for those of you who continue giving on the Give segment of our app at New Life Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast, we thank you for your support and your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So let me begin by saying to all of our listeners and viewers, I am actually in a suit today, and I took my jacket off, and I can't get up to get it so that I can put it on during the broadcast. But I'm in a suit today because our Achievers Academy students have returned to school, middle schools and high schools, for the new academic year. And we are so excited in advance about their performance. We are expecting them to perform at the highest level. And of course, we will be taking our annual college tours now that things are reopening. So we're just excited about the year. And of course, it's business as usual for me. As you can see, as I said, I'm no longer in golf attire for the broadcast. That lasts from the 1st of June until the 1st of September. So here I am in my business attire as we get back to work for the new year for our Achievers Academy and for the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. And so I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, as always, I know you're looking forward to Rebecca Buva, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist, to be with us tomorrow live in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. However, due to scheduling this month, Rebecca Buva, BeccaTheDietitian.com, will be with us on Friday opposed to Thursday this month. So she's doing the first Friday as opposed to the first Thursday, but she will be with us pardon me, right here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast on Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. She has a topic she wants to share with all of us, and of course, your communications will be addressed that you have sent in all month by Rebecca Buva, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist, right here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. So I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you appear to be having difficulty focusing. And it has only recently become a problem for you in your personal and professional life. And you want to know, what can you do to get refocused? So, this is something I hear from people often, that they have difficulty focusing. And what I'm going to say to you is this, the same thing that I tell people all the time. And then I'm going to address why you have been having difficulty focusing, because it's real important that sometimes we understand, well, it's important that we understand at all times what's going on in our lives, and it's important that you understand what your distractions are. But first and foremost, you have to reduce and eliminate distractions. You have to be able to reduce distractions that are causing disruption in your personal life and your professional life. Those distractions that are causing disruptions, you have to at very least reduce and eliminate as many as you possibly can. Now, one of the problems that you have, and you didn't share this with me in your communication, but God allowed me to, as I prayed about this communication, God allowed me to see in that secret place of your life, your distraction, your personal life, your distraction is your children. So you are not able to focus on what God has appointed for you because you are living, and I want to do this in a way that you get a clear understanding, you're living your life through your children. You are focused on everything that they're doing, and you don't focus on what you need to do to be the best version of yourself that you can become, and also to maximize your performance. So that has an impact on both your personal life and your professional life. So you get distracted with your children sharing with you what's going on in their lives and what they want to do, and you get distracted on how you can help them accomplish what they want to accomplish, and it is just disruptive to both your personal life and your professional life. So you've got to really recognize pardon me, that your children have their own life to live and you have your own life to live. Now that doesn't mean that you can't be a good parent. That doesn't mean that you can't give them direction and guidance when they ask for it, but you cannot live their life. And you can't live your life through them. You have to recognize how important it is to really focus on what you're doing personally and what you're doing professionally. So having said that, think about this. You can not eliminate being a parent, but you can reduce how much time you're spending on your children's activities. And I'm not talking, these are young adults. These are young working adults. Again, you didn't share in your communication, but God allowed me to see in that secret place of your life. So you have one child who's 26, you have another child who's 24, and you have a child who is 21 that graduated from college in the spring. You're always going to be a parent, and that's a good thing. You know, I have this conversation with my wife all the time. We are active parents, but we're not living our lives through our children because we have our own lives to live. But we're active parents. We're there if they need us. We're there to give them direction if they get lost. We're there to give them guidance if they ask for it. And we support them in whatever way we can support them that's good for them. We're not going to do anything that we know is going to be harmful to them, or we don't want to enable our children, and we certainly don't want to create any generational curses. So those are the three things that we do to support our children. You're going to be an active parent also, but you cannot be a parent who's consumed with the lives of your children and living your life through them. You have your own life to live. So you're going to have to reduce how much time you focus on your children. Not reduce what you focus on as being a parent, but you have to reduce how much time you spend on the lives of your children, and you cannot live your life through them. Now, having said that, Professionally, you've fallen into the trap of society coming up with these cliches that really do us no good. So you've fallen into the trap of you've got a work husband, you've got, friends at work instead of colleagues, and that's a distraction for you. So you're gonna have to eliminate some of that. You're gonna have to eliminate those activities. You have a work colleague, not a work husband. You have colleagues at work, not really friends. These are not people that you have known all your life. They're not people who you've developed a long-term relationship. Now, you can have, let me tell you when you know you have a friend at work. And I'm not talking about just a colleague. I'm talking about a real friend. A real friend is supportive in your career and you're supportive in their career. A real friend is someone that you have worked with for a number of years. You both have worked in the same environment for a number of years. Even if you've changed jobs, you still have worked in the same environment for a number of years, and you include them in the events of your life. You include them in, the social activities that you have outside of work. You include them in, major events in your life. Those are friends. Those are true friends. Colleagues are people that you see Monday through Friday, and occasionally they call you on the weekend to get some information about what's going on at work. And you might go out with them during the month after work when we're not in a pandemic. Those are just colleagues. When you travel on business, you might have dinner together, you might have a glass of wine together, but those are not your friends. Those are your colleagues. And because you place labels on them that says they're my work husband or my friends at work, because you've placed that label on them, they become a distraction. You've got to eliminate those labels so that you can eliminate those distractions and realize who they really are, who they are in your life. They are people that you work with to get a job done, to hopefully perform at the highest level and to maximize your performance. That's who they are in your life. So let's make certain that we remove the labels so that you can remove and eliminate the distractions. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will place you into our queue so that you can become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest and fastest and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill. And if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have been told that your personality is offensive to others. However, you are having difficulty improving your personal skills, your interaction with others. So first of all, let me say this, to God be the glory. You didn't tell me this in your communication, but God allowed me to see that conversation in the secret place of your life. So your sister, your sibling, by birth, who's known you her entire life, told you that your personality has become offensive to other people. And to God be the glory, you accepted the constructive criticism, and now you're trying to improve your personal skills. You're trying to improve the way that you interact with other people. Okay. So the first thing you have to recognize is that you cannot just say whatever comes to your mind. That's going to help you renew your mind. You're going to have to realize that it's important that you do not just say whatever comes to mind. You want to make certain that you think before you speak. So I often use this analogy by saying that, and I'm going to give you a real scenario. Whenever you are about to respond to something that's been said by someone else, you always have to say within yourself, is what I'm about to say going to be acceptable to God? That's the first and foremost. And then you have to ask yourself, am I really responding to what they've requested or to their comment in a way that it's going to empower them? Or am I just responding with my own narrative, with my own agenda? That's the second thing that we must do. And then the last thing is that we need to use the spirit of discernment. Do we need to add anything to the response that's going to help them? Or do we just simply need to respond to their question? Those are the things we have to ask ourselves. And if we go through that scenario in our mind, do you see how long it took me to go through that scenario? Now, you'll go through it in your mind a little more quickly. But there's a pause before we speak. There's a pause that allows us to make certain that what we're about to say is going to be acceptable to God. There is a pause that will ensure that we respond to them in a way that will empower them. And there's a pause that will ensure that we've used the spirit of discernment to determine, do I need to just answer their question, or do I need to answer their question and provide some additional information? That's going to help you with your personal skills. That's going to help you in your interactions with others. Right now, the problem that you're having is whatever thought comes to your mind when someone makes a comment or when someone asks a question, you immediately blurt out your thoughts. And your thoughts are not always going to help others by addressing what they need to hear that will empower them, or by simply just responding to their, having the spirit of discernment to know how to respond to them in a way that will empower them, and in a way that you may or may not need to add additional information. We've got to recognize that how we deal with other people is going to have not only an impact on our own lives, or not only an impact on their lives, but have an impact on our own lives. Think about this. You're talking about your verbal communication, but how about your body language? How about your interaction, your silent interaction with others? That's how road rage occurs. Is that people who are not even in the same space communicate with one another in a way that it then creates anger in someone who has not the ability to control their anger or manage their anger, and then leads to road rage. Now I know that's not what you're experiencing right at the moment, but your sister basically is saying to you, you've got to deal with people more effectively and efficiently because it's having an impact on your personal life, it's having an impact on your professional life. You have gone from relationship to relationship and from employer to employer, and it is primarily due to what your sister has said. It's your personality, which encompasses your attitude, your disposition, your communication with others. So we've got to be mindful. We've got to be careful. We've got to care. You know, I've often used an adage that says it's better sometimes to be silent and thought a fool than to open our mouth and remove all doubt. There are certain things that we don't need to say just because we want to be heard. If you start there simply by realizing that you cannot just say whatever comes to your mind, and then work on your attitude and work on your communication with others, you will find that you are starting to deal with your relationships in a different way, and that you'll be more successful in both your personal life and in your professional life. First, you have to be able to become successful in order to then work to maximize your success. So let's start there. But I do say to God be the glory that you took the criticism from your sister and made a decision that you're going to do something different, something that's going to improve, enhance the quality of your life and the experience that others have with you. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in any of those areas, stop in at their retail stores. They have everything that a man could possibly need. They have shirts for men, ties for men, suits for men, and accessories. I'm in Charles Tyrwhitt attire today. However, as you can see, I don't have my jacket on because I neglected to put it on. I had it off prior to coming on the broadcast as we were in production. But I will say Charles Tyrwhitt has everything that a man could possibly need. And right now they're having a Labor Day event that is starting 4 shirts or polo shirts for $139 when you use the code GETSET, and 25% off of everything else. You can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. They will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. And The White Company, located in London, the UK. They also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. If you're in New York, stop in at their retail store. They too are celebrating Labor Day with 20% off when you spend $200 or more, and 15% off when you spend $100 or more. At The White Company, at thewhitecompany.com. You can order online from thewhitecompany.com. They too will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have been working nonstop for the last year and a half. The pandemic has proved to be an extremely busy time for you. However, you want to take a break before getting back to the chaos, you said. Okay, so first of all, let's do this. Let's stop the chaos. You know, one of the things I often say is you cannot live with chaos and live in Christ simultaneously. And you cannot live in crisis and live in Christ simultaneously. So let's stop the chaos, first of all, and let's just continue working diligently. So you say the last year and a half, you have been working extremely hard. Well, you said nonstop. So listen, for all of us that are working to be the best version of ourselves that we can possibly become, and for those of us who are running business, operating business, if you're employed by someone else and you have been working from home, we all have been working differently with a different methodology because the pandemic has required that of us. None of us had ever been through this before. None of us have ever been working professionals in the midst of a pandemic. So changes have occurred. We've had to do things differently that we have never done before. The good news is we have not only survived this pandemic, but we've thrived through the pandemic. We're doing things differently. We've improved some of our methodology. We have found ways to be more effective, more efficient, more productive. Okay. Having said all of that, because you feel like it's been nonstop for you, and let me tell you that you're not in this by yourself. Because one of the things we've talked about, we've had conversations about, both in my own home and in our church, is that we really have been working at a more intense pace during the pandemic. And one of the things that we recognize is that our pace has not slowed down at all. In fact, the pace has increased. What I want to say to you is taking a break is not necessary. Listen, and I want to use this analogy because I want us to be clear on this. We have Labor Day coming up. That's one holiday. There is going to be the Thanksgiving holiday and the Christmas holiday coming up in the fourth quarter. We're getting a moment to pause. It's not going to be the pause that you might be hoping for, but there will be a pause during these holidays. You can schedule some time to be out of the office, or you're working from home, so you can schedule a day to be out of the office and get caught up on a few personal things that you might want to catch up on. However, you don't need to take a whole week off right now. You don't need to do that because you do have a lot going on professionally. So it's okay to take Labor Day. Take Labor Day. Now we will broadcast on Labor Day, but take Labor Day and pause for a moment. Do some personal things that you want to get done. All right, and I'm going to say this. I know you're hearing noises in the background. You're hearing voices. I'm in my studio, but in my home studio. But we have our grandson with us for 2 weeks, and that's the little voice that you hear in the background. So I'm just going to say that, and if you hear me pause, it's only because I'm just checking to make sure he's okay. But having said that, listen, take a pause on Labor Day. Do some personal things that you would like to do, that you would like to get done, and then get back to the business at hand. This is going to be a busy time for these next 4 months. What you've got to do is eliminate the chaos. And as long as you do that, you're going to be fine. Just make certain that there's structure, make certain there's order, and you're going to be fine.